is just hopping into the room here. And so I'm going to give it just a few more seconds and let folks get settled, and then we will be off and running. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. We might still have some family members joining us over the next few minutes, and that's perfectly fine. But I want to first and foremost thank everybody for joining us this evening to our final Tennessee Family Series of the summer as classes officially begin next week. Again, we're thrilled that you have joined us tonight to answer any of those kind of final questions, talk about some things that you and your student can look forward to as we kick off the fall semester here. My name is Adam White. I work with New Student Orientation, but I am not alone this evening. We have some fantastic panelists joining us as well. And so before we get going with your questions, I want to go ahead and give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. However, before I do that, if you do have a question for us this evening, we'd love to hear from you. That's why we're here. And so all you have to do is type your question in the Q&A feature there on Zoom. And so we will be going through as many of those as we possibly can this evening. And then we also have a fantastic team working behind the scenes and are going to be answering questions via the chat as well. So even if you don't hear your question answered live on air, more than likely our team will be responding to you through the chat. So don't click out of it after you type your question in the Q&A feature. So that's enough from me. Let's go ahead and meet our panelists for this evening. Dr. Pierce, if you wouldn't mind kicking us off.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Adam, for having me. My name is Joe Pierce. I'm the Associate Dean of Students in the Office of the Dean of Students, and excited to participate tonight. And what I would say to know about my office right off the bat is we're a great office to get started with. And so if you're a student or you don't know where to go, we generally know how to kind of direct people and get them to the right spot. And so we're very excited to be a part of the last session tonight.
Thanks so much, Joe. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Jordan, if you wouldn't mind going second, please.
Yes, no problem. Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Brown. I am a current senior here at UT, and I am blessed to serve as the student body president through the Student Government Association for the upcoming year. And I guess a little pitch about SGA to know about student government. It's just that it's a great place for students to just feel like that they have a place to just share their experiences and also get to advocate for what they believe in on campus. So you can always come and see us. And thank you again for having us here.
Jordan, thank you. Excited to have our student body president with us this evening. And then Neca, if you wouldn't mind going next.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Neca Wilson. I serve as a coordinator in the Center for Student Engagement. And a little bit about my office. We are the hub for all things connection and involvement. So we really value plugging students into different opportunities to get involved through organizations and getting engaged through this series of events that we're rolling out this semester. So I'm happy to be talking amongst the panelists and be answering some of your questions tonight.
Excited to have you here tonight as well to talk about all things getting involved. And then, like I said, my name is Adam White. I'm with New Student Orientation, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions involving orientation, Big Orange Welcome, or any of the events that we might have coming up over the next handful of days. So let's go ahead and kick things off. Final reminder, if you do have questions, we want to hear from you. Plug those questions in the Q&A feature there at the bottom, and we will be getting through as many of those as we possibly can. Neca, I'm going to go to you here. First and foremost, getting involved, hot topic, really, really important topic for our new incoming students. And so as we talk with our family members this evening, what piece of advice would you have for them if their students are interested in getting involved right out of the gate? What's going on here over the next couple of weeks that our students can kind of dive in and maybe check out what we have to offer?
Yes, thank you for asking. So as far as involvement, our office, first I want to preface and say that our office has really been thinking about how we define involvement and engagement. And when we think about involvement, we think about those longer lasting connections, whether it's through organizations, whether it's through leadership experiences. So when we think about involvement, we're thinking in the lens of organizations. So next week, we actually have what's called the Student Engagement Fair. And this is an opportunity for students to mix and mingle with over 200 plus organizations that will be lined up in tables on Ped Walkway, getting ready to recruit and talk to students as well. So this is the best opportunity right now, right in your face, for organizations to recruit members and for members to or for students to be out there and talking to folks. We also, on the other side, events wise, we have an event series called Vol Night Long in our office, and Vol Night Long will literally be happening as the after party for the engagement fair. So once people are done talking to their organizations, you're going to be hearing loud music playing from the student union, and you can walk over there, enjoy the food, enjoy the games, all the different things going on. So that's one of the things that's happening this week. I don't know if folks have more questions down the line, but looking at a calendar of our events, folks can go straight to our website, which is go.utk.edu, or you can just Google the Center for Student Engagement, and you can see the live events calendar as we update it. It updates on our website as well. And that's one big way how students can get plugged in as soon as next week.
Thanks so much, Neca. I appreciate it. I know that event is one of the more popular ones that we have during the first week, and it's a lot of fun. So just to echo what you said, highly encourage you family members to then encourage your students to go check it out and hang out with our clubs and organizations. Jordan, I want to go to you next, if that's okay. I know you gave a little spiel about SGA real briefly, but I want to give you an opportunity to spend another minute or two on just kind of elaborating on who SGA is and what you all bring to the campus. And if you want to give a little plug about, just if students are thinking about maybe getting involved in student government at some point during their career at UT, what could they be doing or what should they be thinking about, as our family members are always trying to guide them in the right direction?
Right, of course. Well, I guess I am a little biased, but I encourage everybody to join SGA. So SGA stands for the Student Government Association. And essentially, we kind of just aim on providing a space for students to be able to share their experiences and their views about essentially anything concerning student life. We do a lot of, programming and putting on events. So we do fun events. We also do issue-centric events. And then on the flip side of that, we also have parts of our branch that does advocacy and tries to write bills and policy and legislation. So you kind of can choose your own adventure in that way of deciding, okay, are you more of an event planner, really passionate about student engagement? You can join one of our student services committees, and of course, be involved in planning events around different issues. Or on the flip side, if you're interested in policy and research and maybe advocating for students and their needs, then you could become a senator in our undergraduate student senate and, actually write those bills to make change. And that gets passed on to, that higher campus administration. But then something that's very important, of course, for incoming students and our first year students is the First Year Leadership Council. So the First Year Leadership Council is an amazing experience for any first year student to get involved, not just to learn about SGA, but also just to learn about how to be a leader on our campus. It's meant to kind of just build that competency of what leadership is, who you are as an individual and how that can be applied to SGA, but also just the greater campus community. So that was a short spiel about all the different ways that you can get involved in SGA. And then I guess I see some of the benefit of SGA. I joined SGA when I was a freshman. So actually being able to start from the beginning, it really helped me grow as a leader. And I guess it must have worked because somehow I am here to be the student body president. So I always encourage it to students, just if they want to learn more about campus or just to grow their leadership skills. I think it's an amazing opportunity and anybody can join and be involved.
Thanks, Jordan. I would imagine this is something that you could probably talk about for hours. And so I appreciate you condensing it all to just a couple of minutes for us. Well, I'm sure we'll circle back to here in just a little bit. But Joe, I want to go to you next. I know within the Office of the Dean of Students, you all provide so many fantastic resources for students and also for family members. Do you mind touching on what a couple of those might be? Maybe things like Big Orange Pantry, for example, or Family Association?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are happy to provide some services for students that are facing any kind of insecurities on campus. And so we offer the Big Orange Pantry as well as Smokey's Closet, which is a partnership with our Student Government Association. Big Orange Pantry is open to all faculty, students, and staff that are struggling with having enough food to eat. And it is manned by volunteers, and the food is free. And so we're really happy to be able to offer that service. The thing that I want to share with you parents is it's not necessarily about somebody who always needs food. It really can be somebody who forgot their lunch and needs to grab something on the way to class. They can come by and grab what we call a food for vol meal. And that's a meal that our Culinary Institute makes on a daily basis that really, I think, is very similar to a freshly meal where you're just gonna pop it in the microwave and have some really great meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Or I've heard the wings are especially great. And so that's all out of the Big Orange Pantry in Grieve Hall. Smokey's Closet is a professional clothing closet. So for students that need some professional clothing that is free, it's all donated by our community members. These are great for internships or class presentations, even if their job requires some kind of dress code that they don't have access to. And Adam kind of shared the family engagement team. And so we are a partner in the Tennessee Family Series. Lindsay and team really create what we call the volunteer experience for all of our family members. So when you think about Fall Family Weekend and Spring Family Reunion, those are some of the things that come out of our office. I hope that all of you parents are active in the Tennessee Family Hub. That's something that we help put together, and we'll chime in every now and then to get you the right information. So for parents and families, we try to be that first stop if you need help or need assistance with anything related to your students.
Excellent. I appreciate it. And one thing I want to highlight now that everybody's kind of gone through that, and Neca, I believe you mentioned this earlier, is that if you want to kind of refresh yourself a little bit at any point about all the things that you're hearing tonight, check out the website to the various offices or departments that are here with us this evening. It is a great resource to review or to even learn more, right? We're not going to be able to get to quite everything this evening, and all these offices do so many great things. And so please feel free to venture on there if you have not done so already. And with that, I want to transition back to Neca. We had a question about, is there like a master list of all student organizations that exist on campus? If we have students or even family members who are just wanting to kind of get ahead of the game and start exploring, what clubs or orgs they might want to be a part of once they're on campus.
Yes. So I'm going to introduce y'all the coolest thing ever called VolLink. I'm just trying to hype it up. But I like to think of VolLink as a Facebook almost for organizations. So it's our database that the university uses for involvement, and organizations each have their own profile on VolLink. So that's where you can find all the active or university recognized organizations. It's a cool platform that you can surf. Especially for students, they have this cool experience with it because it's connected to everyone's net ID, which is their student ID, student login information, and you can actually track your experience the more that you use that. But the organization piece of it, they'll go to the organization tab on VolLink, and you can surf through the organizations that are active. You can also customize your search through the categories. So we have maybe over 13 different categories, varying from advocacy type organizations, academic, multicultural, social, special interests. We also have sports club. Sports club is a whole world of their own, but we also service them as well. If people are interested in sports club, Rec Sports is the area for you. You can actually log onto their website and they have a tailored list of the sports clubs, and not only that, but the following contact list for said sports club. So Vollink, that is the platform that we use, that we encourage. Also, I want to plug in alongside organizations. There is a special feature called the Event Pass. So every student has a unique ID, what we use to scan students into our events. So it's free of charge. It's connected through Vollink, and students have the opportunity to download that event pass. It's like a QR code, and that is their quote unquote ticket to our events. That is our way of just tracking attendance numbers. But if you save it into your Google Play or Apple Wallet, we use that same event code for any event that we have on campus. And a lot of departments in student life are adopting that same model. So quick plug for the event pass, and Vollink is the way to go.
And Lindsay Davis, who's running the show behind the scenes, she plugged that link in the chat feature as well. Thank you, Neca, for kind of going over that. And family members know that there'll be folks all around campus kind of supporting your student with some of those specific topics. And as they attend events, we'll have staff all over the place to be able to help them get there, whether it's event pass setup or how to, learn how to navigate Vollink, things like that. So definitely not something that they're expected to be experts at upon arriving to campus this week or next. One thing that I do want to spend a minute talking about, we're getting some questions regarding Big Orange Welcome, our on-campus orientation experience for our new incoming students. And so family members, I'm sure you've heard about this. We've been sending emails about it all summer, but I want to encourage you to, again, help us encourage your students to download the Vol Life app. Hopefully this is not the first time you've heard about this app, as we've been trying to plug it, really starting in mid-spring semester last year, as we had students applying and confirming to UT. So please encourage them to download the Vol Life app. That is where we put our Big Orange Welcome schedule. All they have to do is download the Big Orange Welcome guide, and we have events listed in there from tonight all the way through the first 6 weeks of the fall semester. And so please check it out. Tell your students to check it out. It is really a fantastic spot to see just what's going on campus as they transition to Rocky Top here again over the next handful of weeks. So again, that is the Vol Life app. It's a free app, and they just sign up using their UTK credentials. Let's see here. Joe, I'm going to go back to you if that's okay. We got a question that came in from a family member asking just about what the procedure might be if their student happens to get sick and they can't go to class. What would you say to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a normal part of college life, is some adversity along the way. And so if your child gets sick and can't make it to class, the first thing that we kind of advise is for them to reach directly out to their faculty member and let their faculty member know that they're sick and won't be able to make it into class. This solves about 90% of the problems. And sometimes there are some extenuating circumstances. If your student needs to be out for a week or 2 weeks, depending on what's going on, then sometimes the faculty will ask you to participate in what we call an absence notification process. And so that is a process that lives within our student health center right now as far as health-related issues. You can find the link to that on our DOS website, dos.utk.edu. Look for absence notifications, and that will get you to the right people that can help your student navigate being out of class for a week or longer, as well as missed assignments and pieces like that. Ultimately, a lot of this lies within the professor's syllabus and their expectations. That's why we try to get students to work directly with the faculty member before going down the other route. But as a university of 30,000 plus students, we know that students are going to be sick and can't make it. And so we try to help them along the way as best as we can.
That's a great question. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. Jordan, I want to go to you. I know you're a rising senior here. And so it may seem like forever ago that you were transitioning to UT, but I'm curious if you have just any general thoughts or pieces of advice as a student yourself currently for our family members as they may be, having conversations with their students who might be experiencing a mixture of emotions, right? And so what can you say to just the the overall transition to UT and what, again, piece of advice you might have to help students kind of have a good transition, if you will.
Wow, I feel like there's so many pieces
There's a
of it.
lot. Boil it
I'm trying to.
down. There's a couple.
Of course, I guess number one, I think when I was thinking of when I transitioned from my high school to coming to UT, the first thing will probably be having that support system with family. It's very important. Of course, when you come to college, this is new independence. You want to do everything on your own. There are a lot of moments that you'll encounter new situations or unknown territory. And I can't stress how important it is to have that connection or just that support system around you, whether it's family or friends that you make on campus or organizations that you join. Just it makes it a lot easier to go through that transition when you're not doing it on your own. So my first major piece of advice when you come on campus is to find your support system, find your group, or even if that's your family back home, make sure you're calling and talking to your parents, have your support system because it'll help you get through hard times, fun times, all times under the sun. I guess secondly, I also would say another piece of advice would be don't be afraid to change and don't be afraid to grow. I feel like when I came to college, I was a little nervous about, I don't want to lose who I am or I don't want to change into somebody that I don't recognize. But I think it's important to realize that change and growth is kind of just all a part of growing up. So it's really important that as you're encountering these new situations and you're, joining new organizations that, it's okay to try different things and it's okay to step outside of your comfort zone because at the end, it could end up just being worth your while. So that would be my two main pieces of advice for incoming students and parents talking to incoming students.
Well said. I appreciate it, Jordan. Thank you. Neca, I want to ask you a question here and get your thoughts. We have students who approach involvement and engagement in a lot of different ways, right? And we have some students who want to be involved or engaged in a lot of different things. We have others that maybe just want to focus on one, if not two things. And Jordan, you're kind of talking about that a little bit. Would you say there's a right way to go about it, or it's just kind of whatever is based on the student's preference? What are some different strategies you think that students can use when trying to figure out, how they kind of find their place that Jordan was referring to?
Yeah, that's definitely a great question. I definitely do think that it's based on the student's preference. When you start your college experience or when a student starts their college experience, we kind of like to think of engagement in different tiers. Thinking about maybe the lens of organizations, there's the general body. So this student is not necessarily just a member. There's more value in being a member, but the student is not necessarily within the leadership of the organization. They want to get involved. They want to see what's going on. They want to know people in the community. And typically general body members is a great way for folks to get their feet wet in the door with an organization. And then when they think about, I maybe want to be a part of the leadership community of this. I want to be a part of making change in this organization or making impact on campus. They may want to rise and be an executive officer of that. So maybe say president or vice president, a secretary, treasurer, those things. A lot of organizations have election processes for that. And so they rise above and serve in that leadership role. Some people I've seen have a handful of organizations under their belt. Some people have one organization that they love so much and is very dear to them and they want to grow in that area. It's honestly up to the student's preference. I just say that whatever is their comfort zone, you don't have to overdo it. But I think kind of what Jordan was saying, it's okay to hop around. It's okay to see what fits best for you. I think our office, we're really good at meeting with students and seeing what the student needs. Sometimes students are shy and don't want to reach out to the members in the organizations that they wish to be a part of. I know in Volley, there's actually a cool feature where it's not necessarily anonymous, but it's not this extension where I have to talk to somebody face to face. Let's say I type in the Bangladesh Student Association. It just comes to mind because they're a frequent visitor in our office. So let's say I type that into Volley. There's a button that says join right next to it. I can click join. It pings the leaders in the Bangladesh Student Association that such and such would like to join your association. So then it puts it on the leaders to reach out to the student as well. So they can click accept, they can reach out to them, they can have that connection. So there's many different ways of going about getting involved in organizations, but it's definitely tailored to the student's preference and the student's comfort level. And we really want to challenge students to at least take that step. We can even help you along the way, but it starts with the student taking that step.
Neca, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And just kind of one thing that I'll add real quick. I think it's forgotten. Sometimes students think that if they do click that button, if they want to join, right, or if they go to a meeting or event one time, they're like fully committing themselves to all years they're at UT to that group or organization, association. It's just not the case, right? That they can do those things as they explore, various interests and figure out if it is a place for them. And if it's not, then they can obviously go a different direction. But like you said, they have to try first in order to find it at the end of the day. I want to circle back to Big Orange Welcome real quick here. I talked about the Vol Life app and downloading the Big Orange schedule within that app. A couple other great features within that schedule. We have a lot of questions coming into our office right now about required events and optional events and events for transfer students and first year students. And our team has done a great job of organizing all of that information directly in the app. There is a menu feature on the left-hand side within the app. And within that menu, there are a bunch of different tabs. And one of those tabs is new student requirements. And then we have it broken down by student population. So again, as your student may be arriving on campus or you all are planning to arrive to campus in the next couple of days, and you want to get ahead of the game and start planning out what you need to do, where you need to be at various times, starting Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, definitely check out that tab, and we have it all nicely laid out for the students with locations and times and even brief descriptions regarding where they need to be. And of course, with any questions regarding Big Orange Welcome, you can absolutely reach out to the orientation office at orientation@utk.edu. Family members, thanks so much for your questions this evening. We're still rolling here for another handful of minutes. So if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to plug them in the Q&A feature here. And we're going to continue to try and get to as many as we can. And thank you to our team behind the scenes that are also quickly responding to questions via the chat. Let's see here. Joe, I want to go back to you if that's okay. And talking a little bit about how family members can get involved in our UT community, right? And we have so many excited family members of new students who are thrilled, not just for their student, but I think they're thrilled for themselves as well, because they get to be part of our fantastic family here. And so what would you say to those family members? You kind of touched on it earlier a little bit, but if you could kind of shed a little bit more light on kind of what the opportunities are for families and how they can go about just maybe jumping in if they're really, really excited to be engaged a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say first things first, head over to family.utk.edu and start to peruse the website and see all the offerings that we have. I would say families that are interested in doing a little bit more, check out our family ambassador or family council opportunities. These are different families who have pledged their support to Knoxville through a variety of means. A lot of times it is serving in a volunteer capacity at events. So this week we're doing Dessert with the Dean of Students tomorrow at 2 to 4 on the Student Union Plaza if you want to come visit me. But we'll have some family ambassadors out there that are helping us spread the good news of everything that's going on with our family populations. I would also say if you have a unique talent or if you have a unique gift, send us an email and we'd be happy to figure out a way for you to get involved. We're going to be doing a silent auction as a part of our Fall Family Weekend, and any family member can bid on those items. And so we're happy to expand that if you are interested in picking up some great orange gear or a new vacation rental. Some of those things tend to make their way onto that list. But families overall, I would say, check out the website. Let us know that you want to be interested, and generally we can help you find a spot that's meaningful for you.
Awesome. I appreciate you going into a little bit more detail there for our family members. That's super helpful. Jordan, I want to throw it over to you here. We got a question regarding, if a student does want to be a part of SGA at one point in their time at UT, but they also are a part of Greek life. I think sometimes students are worried that they can't do multiple things if they are part of Greek life, right? And I think we all here know that that's just not true. So what would you say, though, to those students, as our family members are talking with them as they get settled here on Rocky Top, if they are a part of Greek life, but they know that they really want to do SGA at some point? Is that something that you all are cool with?
Yes, I mean, I would never say that SGA or Greek life can be an obstacle to not being able to join the other. I mean, I myself am a part of Greek life. A number of members of our organization are a part of Greek life. I mean, SGA is all about kind of just growing into yourself and growing into your leadership style. And a part of being a leader, especially at UT, is being well-rounded. We wouldn't discourage anybody from being a part of multiple organizations just to say like, oh, you should only be a part of one. But it's important to actually get a better sense of the campus community to be involved in multiple things. On the flip side of that, I would say, just as a forewarning, is that, like Neca mentioned earlier, you don't have to join 500 different things to also be considered well-rounded. You can find a couple of things that you want to do, or maybe just one. So when I think of joining multiple organizations, it's important to really learn how to balance and how to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with your student organization involvement. So we always encourage our students to be involved, but we also encourage our students to think about themselves and be mentally healthy as well.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Thank you. Neca, I just kind of want to toss a general question and again, just get your thoughts. What's something that you would encourage our students to consider as they work through various challenges during their transition? We know challenges are inevitable and for our new students. And so again, as our family members are trying to support them during these initial months, what would you tell them if they have a student who is maybe struggling or just getting impatient as far as trying to find their niche?
Yeah, I can definitely empathize with that, especially thinking about the transition from, being amongst your family or being in high school and then going to college. Maybe switching gears outside of the organizational lens and thinking about our office in a programmatic lens. There's so many ways to engage with us through our events. So if thinking about being around various groups of people or clubs might be too overwhelming, try coming to our events, try hanging out with us for an hour or some time. We really have been thinking about wellness and integrating wellness in our programs, whether it's make it, take it, what's it called? Like wellness kits, diffuser sets, stress balls. We had a de-stress day, which was really cool. But even opportunities to meet people and make friends, you can find that when we hold our events. One of my favorite events that we do, and it's so impactful, it's called Speed Friending. And it's a cool, quirky, corny kind of name, but Speed Friending essentially is kind of that opportunity where folks have almost 2-3 minute chats with different people that come to the event. And it's just mind blowing seeing the connections that people make in such a short amount of time with one question or two questions. And you get the opportunity to meet different people through that event. And then we've seen the numbers of times that we've had it that people are connecting afterwards, exchanging Snapchats or Instagrams or phone numbers, taking cute selfies afterward. And that was just from 1 hour of coming to our event. So sometimes when that large scale idea of organizations seems so overwhelming, maybe try coming to an event, maybe try just engaging for an hour or two. And there are definitely ways to connect with different people. I feel like those who are coming to our events are seeking that connection. So there's a common denominator there. And we really hope that you come there change, or you leave there change, or at least feeling a little energized and kind of pumped for the next day. So.
Well said again. Thank you so much. And actually, I want to stay on you real quick because a question just came in that pertains to you, Neca. We talked about VolLink a little bit already, right? But obviously, there's other ways that not just your office, but any office that does programming on campus kind of advertises various events or things that are happening around campus or the Knoxville area. And so what would you encourage if we have students that just kind of want to know what's going on? Where should they look? Where are things going to be posted, would you say? Outside of VolLink, because you already, I obviously know VolLink is the main hub.
Definitely. So we have calendar.utk.edu is definitely a big space where a lot of departments within the division are plugging in those things. And you can also physically, we're housed in the student union, but the student union has a lot of digital slides. So if you literally stand and stare at the TV, you'll see a slideshow of all the cool things that are going on. There are many different bulletin boards as well around the student union. And not only are like our events and other departmental events up there, there's folks like subleasing their apartments, people looking for jobs. Folks are putting interest flyers for things on that bulletin board as well. So definitely check out buildings as well as your residence hall. If folks are staying on campus, I know that the RAs put up things in the bulletin, on their bulletin boards as well. So many different ways, the digital screen, the bulletin board, different postings around campus, and then calendar.utk.edu formally on behalf of our division in different departments.
Adam,
And I'll just, Joe, go ahead, please.
I just want to share a parent tip. If you do have a student that's trying to get involved, or you feel like want to kind of coach them through getting involved, I think one of the best things you can do is just follow the different social media accounts across campus.
Great
I know
suggestion.
New Student Orientation has a very active account. The Student Life account, which I know we'll put in the chat for you, will post different events going on. But as a parent, you can follow these accounts and make suggestions for your students on how to get involved as well. But I think that's where we try to go first, is making sure it's out there on Instagram.
Thanks for jumping in there, Joe. That's a great suggestion. Absolutely. You can never go wrong with following as many of the UT social media accounts as you can, because so many of our offices and our departments and our organizations do so many cool things throughout the year that you don't want to miss them. I would also kind of add lastly on this topic, specifically for these first 6 weeks as we engage in Big Orange Welcome, please encourage your students to keep push notifications turned on, because as various requirements or even just general events take place, we will be sending push notifications out through the Vol Life app that will go directly to your student to hopefully just keep them informed, or just friendly reminders that these things are going on. So just something that you might want to mention to your student here as they're moving in. We have just a handful of minutes here left. One thing I will add, again, from an orientation perspective, a question that our team gets a lot is, how is my student going to learn how to navigate campus, right? Our campus is a pretty good size. And so students probably haven't spent too much time quite yet, especially as they go off to classes next Wednesday. And so what I will say to that is we actually have a fantastic event that will be happening next Tuesday called Map Your Classes. And our student orientation leaders are going to be hanging out and working with any student that wants to come and walk around campus and get some help and support figuring out where they need to go that next the next couple of days as they hit their classes for the first time. So please tell your student again to check that one out. We know it can be overwhelming, but again, reassure you that we have some really cool things in place to allow students to get to know not just where their classes are, but just to get to know where all the fantastic resources are available on campus, from the student union to the dining facilities to Thompson Boling arenas. But I just wanted to mention that because I know it's a hot topic on our end. Joe, I don't think you have had the opportunity to provide a piece of advice yet. And so I didn't want to hang up without giving you that chance. I know Neca and Jordan have done a great job articulating some of their thoughts, but what would you say to our families here as so many of them, if not all of them, are dropping their student off to Rocky Top here this week?
Yeah, I would say check in with your students, but also give them some space. As Jordan mentioned, college can be a time where our students are kind of figuring out who they are as individuals, but they also need some guidance in that sometimes. And so check in with your students and be helpful as much as you can. If and when you notice that there are some concerns, find us at the Dean of Students office, and we're more than happy to chat with your student or get them connected to some other resources on campus. UT Knoxville is such an amazing campus. There's so many resources for our students. And so I always tell families to connect with us. If you are trying to accomplish something with your student and not able to do that on your own, we can generally help you do that. So the other piece I give is an involvement piece. As somebody who loves involvement, I would say challenge your student to get involved in at least one or two things this semester. It will truly make a world of difference. The research shows that our involved students actually have higher GPAs and have a better sense of well-being. So let's do our part as a partnership between families and the university to encourage them to do that.
Fantastic. I want to thank all three of our panelists this evening for joining us and sharing their words of wisdom for our family members. Family members, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, like Joe said, know that there's so many folks on campus, whether it's staff, faculty, or even current students that are absolutely thrilled to meet your student and to engage with your student once they arrive to campus and support your student during their transition to UT. And so again, I'll mention, please check out the websites of the various offices that were with us this evening: SGA, Student Engagement, Dean of Students, New Student Orientation. Thank you. The emails and phone numbers are listed here. We know this is a popular time where a lot of questions are just bouncing all over the place, whether it's from you yourselves as family members or from your students. And so please do not hesitate to reach out to any of these departments, because even if we don't know the answer, we know who does know the answer, and we'd be more than happy to connect you with the appropriate folks. So we're thrilled to see you all on Rocky Top here during this move-in week and weekend. And again, thank you so much for joining us. One final wrap up here on the next slide. Just family members, please continue to encourage your student to complete their online orientation that is due next Wednesday, the first day of classes. And family members, don't forget, you can still access that online orientation for free by signing up as a guest. If you wouldn't mind completing our post-session survey, you'll get it emailed shortly after we hang up here. Joe talked about the Family Association a few times, but again, please check out the website listed on the screen if you are interested in learning a little bit more about our fantastic Tennessee Family Association. And then finally, for probably the third or fourth time, check out the Big Orange Welcome schedule on the Vol Life app. Encourage your student to do it, please, if they have not done so already. And we're just thrilled. We're just thrilled to get things started. You'll see at the very bottom of the screen, we had some fun first day of class photos taking place on Wednesday and Thursday of next week as well. So mention that to your student. they're probably going to be walking through the Student Union Plaza anyways as they are trying to figure out where they're going and going to and from class. And so let them know to engage with all the cool things that will be happening. So again, thank you to our panelists. Thank you, family members. Have a great rest of your night and go Vols.